can say data step programming is used to, this is used to declare the definition and structure for the data set. Data step program is used to declare the definition and structure for the data set. The question is, what is a data set? Data set is nothing but a table of SAS format which is used to maintain the collection of data in rows and columns. Dataset is nothing but a table. Dataset is nothing but a table, but not an ordinary table. This is a SAS table, and it will maintain the collection of data in rows and columns. Remember that in SAS terminology, rows are called as observations and columns are called as variables. And every data step program must start with a keyword data, and it should end with semicolon. Sorry, it should end with run or semicolon. And here we can declare conditional as well as logical statements. We can declare conditional as well as logical statements, and we have complete control. I will say we have customization. We can mold the program according to our requirement, and the only drawback that we have here is here can't generate reports. And as we observe the syntax, it will look like this. We should say data and then data set. If you want, we can declare options. And then we have to declare the programming statements.
You said we can generate the reports. What do you mean by that? We just can, okay, yeah. We just can have the table.
We can't generate the.
No, we can't.
Here we cannot generate any report. Here we can create the table, but here we cannot do any analysis and we cannot generate any report.
Okay.
That means here we cannot generate any summary report, detailed report, any kind of report.
Mm-hmm.
And data sets are of two types. One is permanent data set and another is temporary data set. Permanent data set means it will be created by two-level name. Temporary means it will be created by one level. In general, permanent will be created within the work library. We will create Sorry.
Okay.
Permanent data set will be created in other than work library, but temporary will be created within work library. Okay. If you have created any library, then if we created anything in the work, then it will be called as a temporary data set. But if you create anything in other than the work, then it will be called as a permanent data set. And data set has two parts, or it is a combination of two different components, like data part and description part. Data part means actual data, description means definition about the data. Based on this, I can say data file is a combination of data part and description part. But data view is having only description part, it doesn't have data part. In the last session I said we have data file and data view. Regarding them, I said we have some structural differences. So these are the structural differences.
Welcome to GoToMeeting, online meetings made easy. There are 3 other callers on the call.
Data step. Here we have data, set, in file, input, length, format, reading, label, cards or data lines. Data is used to create the data set. Set is used to declare the source data set from where we can copy the data. Infile is used to declare name and location of the external file from which we want to create the data set. An input is used to declare the name. Input is used to declare the list of variables, data types, and their order of appearance. Length is used to declare the length for the data. Format is used to read the data, and format is used to write the data. Rename is used to change the name of the variable. Label is used to declare the label name for the variable. And cards or data lines are used to declare the internal raw data. We will call it as in-stream data. And run is used to execute the program. These are the list of keywords and their uses. Now let us see the examples regarding all this. I'm trying to clear the previous library, all the previous user-defined libraries. Now, check out in the SAS help, we have a file by the name class. We have a dataset by the name class. I'm trying to open it. How many variables are there in the class? Variables means nothing but columns.
Five variables.
We have 5 variables, and how many observations? Observations means nothing but rows.
3, 4, 5 observation, right? Rows 1, 2, 3, 4.
We have 5 variables, and how many observations?
5.
Observations means nothing but rows.
Mm-hmm.
How many rows are there?
5.
What was this number?
15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
So how many observations?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now you're...
Hey,
Okay.
variables means nothing but columns. I'm asking observations. How many observations are there? Variables are the things that are present horizontally. Okay? Observations are the things that are present vertically. So how many observations are there?
Okay, oh, so total.
Sorry.
Okay, so
How many
total, yeah.
19.
19 observations. We have
19
5 variables, 19 observations. Table is a combination of rows and columns. We have 5 columns and 19 rows. In SAS terminology, dataset is a combination of variables and observations. Here we have 5 variables and 19 observations. So we have something here. I just want to make a copy of all this as it is into a new dataset. I want to create a new dataset by copying that information. So I'm trying to create a temporary dataset. I'm trying to create a temporary dataset, and it will be created by one level name. One level name means if we have declared the dataset name without library, then it is nothing but one level if we have declared the dataset name without library name, then it is nothing but one level name, and we will create it within the work library. We'll create it within the work library. Check out. Do we have anything in the work?
No.
It was empty, isn't it? Now, I want to create a dataset to it. Asset data A. We know the data is a keyword.
Nandu, I have a question, please. When you did, when you type all those things, those are not syntax. Those are just what? Those are also
comments.
Syntax, temporary dataset. I mean, you just type those comments. So those are
in
comments.
general, SAS will not process the comments. These are only for your understanding purpose.
Okay.
They are not concerned with the program.
Okay.
Those are not part of the program. Next time while you read, it will be easy to understand.
Okay. Okay.
So I said construct the dataset by the name A. Copy. Set means copy it from the class, isn't it? You want to copy the data from which one? Class, and the class is present in the SAS help, isn't it?
SAS help, yes. Classes.
So we must write it as SAS help.class.
Okay.
We must write it as SAS help.class. That's what we have written here. And then let's set to execute. You know that work is the temporary library. Check out, I have submitted this. Here we got the A. How many variables are there?
Class 1 okay, here.
How many
Again,
variables?
5 variables.
And how many observations?
19.
19. If you can remember, in the class also we have the same, isn't it? That means whatever we have in the class, I got all that as it is into the A. Why we are calling A as a temporary data set is because it was created in the temporary library. What is a temporary library? In the SAS, nothing but work. As work is a temporary library, obviously the file is also temporary file, nothing but temporary data set. How we have created it? We have created it by one level name. One level name means if we have declared only the data set name without mentioning the library name. Check out here, we declared only the data set name, but we have not declared the library name. Then it will be called as one level name. Okay? Now exactly opposite to this. I'm trying to create permanent data set. And it will be created by two level name. If we have declared the dataset name and the library name, then it is nothing but two level name. And we will create it in other than work library. Okay, we will create it in other than work library. I'm trying to create it in the SAS user. Check out in the SAS user, do we have any file by the name A?
Name A now. No, we don't.
Here is SAS user dot A. As I want to create it in the SAS user, as a SAS user dot A. And here we came to submit it. Check out. Do we have A this time?
Yes.
And if I try to open it, same information, all the 5 variables and all the 19 observations. Why we are calling it as a permanent dataset is because we have created it in other than the work library. Work is the only temporary library that we have in the SAS. As I'm trying to store in other than work, nothing but SAS user, it has become permanent dataset. How we have created it? By two level name. Two level name means if you declare the library name as well as the dataset name both. If you declare the library name as well as the dataset name both, then it will be called as two level name. Remember that.
I have a question.
Pardon?
I have a question, Nandu. In case we define a user-defined library and we create a file there, so it will again be in that case also it's gonna be a permanent data set.
Dataset will always be permanent unless you specifically delete it.
Okay. So in that case also we can here also we can create a user-defined library and then put a file there.
Yes.
So are you sending us also this? I mean, when you send us the syntax, I mean all the class note, can you also send us the comments, permanent
everything,
or temporary
whatever I'm trying to show, every day I will send all those things. There is no need to
Okay, great. I mean including the comments, 2 level of comments.
Yes, everything, everything. Whatever you saw, okay, on my screen, I will try to send all that. Two level name means library name as well as dataset name. Remember that library name always should be in the first position and the dataset name should be always in the second position. You should separate library as well as dataset by period. we should not separate them by using any other symbol. We should not use hyphen, comma, space, or anything. And the first place always reserved for the library, so there we cannot write dataset name. I mean to say, instead of SAS user.a, I cannot write it as a.SAS user. It must be written as SAS user.a. So this was information regarding temporary dataset, permanent dataset, 1 level name, 2 level name. And as we noticed, till now we have created dataset from already existing dataset. But this time I want to create a dataset with my own information.
Okay.
Asset B, I want to have ID, name and cell. I want to have ID, name and cell. As name is a character, I give $. Here we have the data. I'm trying to write some records here. Check out this. But at the same time, if the name is having more than 8 letters, what we should do? You know that if we have any person more than 8 letters, we should take the help of
Condition.
length class.
Length class.
Remember that the length must be declared before the input. We cannot declare the length after the input. And one more thing, in general the SAS will always arrange the variables according to the input. But once length came into existence, the first priority will be changed to the variables that are present in the length class. In general we should get ID name cell. Instead of that we got name ID cell. Why? Because as length has the first priority, name came in the first position. Okay. And here we have date of birth, 10th Jan 1960. Here we have 31st December 2012, 3rd June. This was the date. We know that whenever we have the requirement to think about the date, we should always think about an format and format, because without an format and format, the SAS won't read it and the SAS won't write it. And this time we have the data in an external file. We have the data in an external file like this. As said, I'm trying to save it. I want to save it on the desktop. I need test. Check. So I will copy its location. And here we will specify the in file as a test. It is a text file. Asset ID, name, cell, then in file is used to declare the name and location of the external file along with the extension. So as I came to run, check that here we got the view. Okay.
Nandu,
Remember that.
Nandu, I have a question. In this infile command, infile single quote C, is it a syntax that is accepted by SAS system? It will not accept double quotes.
Single or double quotes?
Yeah.
Whenever we are trying to interact with the local machine, we should always declare single or double quotes. If you can remember, for the library also I have given the path in inverted quotes. Okay, so whenever we are trying to deal with local machine, we have to specify that information with inverted quotations. It may be single or double.
No, the other day I was trying with this code, but then it was not accepting it. It was throwing me some errors.
No, maybe you have declared a wrong, something wrong. Check out here, I gave double. Do we have any error?
So it doesn't matter whether it's single or double quoted, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try this again today.
So what do you mean local machine? You just use when we try to...
that means we have the information on the desktop.
So that's
Okay,
mean
this
local.
test,
If we,
this, yes.
If we
this
wanted
test
to...
Is, you go on.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, this test is not present in the SAS. It is present on the local machine.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever we have the requirement to interact with the local machine, we should display that information in the inverted quotations.
So this is on the local machine. When we wanted to find the information from outside, like different information, is not in the local machine. So in that case also, we need to use the path. Where are we going to get the path? But
if we are working with infile means we are specifying the data is present in that so-and-so location.
Okay.
Suppose if you are working on the remote desktop, for that we have a different procedure, not in this method.
Okay.
Okay. So we have seen example for data, set, infile, input, length, and format, read, cards, data lines as well as run. Data lines means you can write either of the name. Either we can write cards or simply we can write it as data lines. Both are accepted. And we are left with only two keywords, nothing but rename and label. Rename. Okay. If you want to declare a name for the variable, rules for naming the variables or data sets. Okay. The name should contain maximum 32 letters and the remaining rules are same like library. Whatever rules we have for the libraries, we have the same rules, but the only difference is here we're having maximum 32 letters. But for the library we have 8. But when it comes to the labels, no rules. That only limit is maximum to 56 letters. Earlier we copied the information from the class. While I was copying, I was not comfortable with one of the variable names, sex. So I want to change its name from sex to gender. There we'll say rename old name is equals to new name.
Gender, okay.
Okay, old name is equals to new name. Okay. Earlier it was sex, but now we have it as gender. Like that for age, I want to declare a label. Presently we don't have any label for any of the variable. I want to declare a label for the age. I said age as number of years. Check out. The variable name is still age only, but it was displayed by the label.
So
The label is for display purpose. Label is for display purpose. And for label, we don't have any rules. It can start with number, name, symbol, anything, and it will support maximum 256 letters. And whenever we open the dataset, the first priority is always for the label only. If we don't have any label, then it will try to display the information by the variable name. For variable name, we have rules. It must start with a character or underscore. Of course, it may have numbers, but those should be in the middle or at the ending. But it should not be in the starting position, and it won't accept any special characters or symbols. And it should contain maximum 32 letters, but for labels, 256 letters.
Label, how many letters, sorry?
256.
256 letters.
But for variable, 32. So we came across all these keywords, and we have seen what is permanent dataset, temporary dataset, one level and two level line. We are left with data part and description. Whenever we open the dataset, the information that we can watch is nothing but data part. Alfred, Aliceberg, Carol, FN, 11, 12, 13. Everything, whatever we can see here is nothing but data part. But at the same time, data part, and its properties is called as a description. Like when it was created, when it was modified, what were the number of rows, what were the number of observations, what was the engine, what was the list of variables there, data type, length, format, everything is called as description. Okay. What I said, based on that we have data file and data view. Check out, let me create a data file and data. I am trying to copy air and band-aid, and I have pasted them in the Word. We have air and band-aid. Now, I am trying to create A from air, and I am trying to create a data view from band-aid. Okay. If you want to create the data view, this is the code. You should declare the same name, whatever name you have declared after the data. Here I said B, so we must declare B is a positive. Here we have A and B. A is called as data file, B is called as data. Both are called as data set. Okay.
So what is the difference between the data file and data view then, Nando?
What I said, data file is having data and description. Data view is having only description. Doesn't have any data. Okay. Why I am trying to say it doesn't have any data is because, let me show you with an example. I have cleared the log window. Now I am trying to open A, and I closed A. Do we have any message in the log window?
No.
Like that, I am trying to open the B, and it like and I closed it. Do we have any message in the log window?
No.
There were 4 observations read from the dataset work.band-aid. In actual, do I open the band-aid? I opened which one? B.
B.
But as B was always dependent on the band-aid, because this is a virtual file, it is an image. In actual, it doesn't contain any data in it. So whenever we are trying to open it, it will always try to retrieve the data from the source. So as long as the source is existing, it will be meaningless.
Source is band-aid. So
yes, if the source is not existing, it will be meaningless. Let me make it even more clear. Let me delete sources for both A and B. I'm trying to delete air and band-aid. Now we have A. If you open it, it will still exist. Why? Because it has the data within it. But if you open B, we will get an error. Why? Because to donate the data into this one, we don't have any source.
Information.
Exactly.
So yeah, B is virtual.
So with this, we have completed everything whatever I have mentioned about that. And the next topic is nothing but input styles. We will continue with the input styles from tomorrow.
Nandu, I have a question. We can create a data view from a different, we can create a data view file whose source is in some other library?
Yes. We
Okay,
can. Just declare the library name before it. Just declare. Suppose if it is in SAS, just write SAS. That's it.
And what if we go for a tertiary level folders, the library structure?
Tertiary level means other than just mention in the same way SAS user. Here also mention SAS user. Whatever name you will declare after the data, you should declare the same name after the view.
No, what I'm trying to ask is, like in case within a SAS user library, we can create another library.
We can't. We can never create a library within another library.
Okay. Okay. So in that case, it will be. I got you.
Okay. Okay then. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, Nandu.